It is disgusting and snowy outside and has been all day, so this is a good day to stay inside the garage and do a project because we have a big delivery coming tomorrow and I need to get all of this lumber cleaned up before it gets here, and to do that, we need to build a lumber rack. Building a lumber rack is something that's been on the priority list for a really long time because we have just multiple stacks of these like MDF boards, basic 2x4 lumber, trim, all sorts of stuff that just is stacked up in random places, and it just needs a permanent home, especially as we look to build a wood shop in the corner in the back there. Having wood that's accessible nearby is super important. So we got this wood delivered last week, primarily to make this shelf, but it is going to contribute to some other projects as well. But we did get the notice yesterday that we have a really big delivery coming, and it's going to need to be on the gravel here where all this wood is now. So no time like the present to get this done. Thankfully, if it looked like I really flew through putting that all together, I did not record all the time spent measuring all my predefined cuts. The baby was sleeping and his room is 20 feet away from the garage, so I wasn't going to be running any saws, so it was kind of forced me to actually spend the time to measure and mark everything so that when it was finally time to go, I could just cut, and get everything put together really, really quickly. All of this, once I started, by the time I started actually cutting boards, this whole project came together in a little under 2 hours, which was, pretty good time. I was pretty happy with that, primarily because I managed to get it, we'll say 95% of the way done before it got too dark to see. By the end, I was really struggling to see some of the marks that I put on boards. But all in all, we got it all together, and it works really, really well. If anyone has any questions about basic measurements, things like that, how I kind of figured this out, because this is I didn't even draw this out. I didn't even sketch it out. I just kind of guessed and just figured it out with some basic measurements. So if you would like an actual detailed explanation as to how this works, why it works, how to build your own, I'd be happy to do a more in-depth video to kind of go over what each of the pieces are and how they work. But overall, this is just a really quick overview of how I spent a couple hours this afternoon getting a big project out of the way so that we have space and time for a big... All right, a really quick update since it is getting too dark to see in here. This is where we're at. This is what we're building. This is a lumber rack to be able to hold lumber and wood upright. Right now we just have multiple stacks inside in the main house garage, which is really unorganized and hard to get anything out to work with. So we have this built with 3 vertical stands for wood. This one will just be kind of what it is right now, 2x4s, treated, untreated. The untreated ones are going to be coming out of there probably tomorrow, so I'm not super worried about their moisture getting into anything. You have direct use for them, but basic lumber and trim, specialty boards and stuff like that, which we have a fair amount of. And then to the right will just be panels, so drywall, plywood, that sort of thing. Not drywall. Ugh, heaven forbid I own drywall again. But yeah, plywood, MDF board, which is what we put on the bottoms of these so boards don't just fall through. Things like that. There's big long panels that again are hard to store if you don't have a really designated place for them, especially as you cut them up into smaller and smaller pieces. So this is going to be really helpful to clean up wood storage and just make them so much more accessible to actually work with, as opposed to having, right now the MDF panels are inside underneath a pile of other boards and other boards and other boards, and it's just a huge operation to even get a piece out to do anything with. So over the next couple of days, we'll be filling up these racks, or filling them up as much as we are able, and getting the rest of our stuff out here.